Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the NBA DraftKings slate on August 13th on Monday. We got big two-game slate. We have Game 1 of the Miami Heat and Milwaukee Bucks series, and then Game 6, which could be closed out for the Houston Rockets against Okc Thunder. Hopefully two really good games today. We saw Houston absolutely blow out OKC last game, but I don't think that happens again. Before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, leave a comment. All those things really help me out, help me grow. We've had a lot of growth throughout NASCAR and throughout NBA season. NFL starts in 2 weeks. I'm so excited for NFL. College football does as well, so I'm going to be making videos for those as well, so make sure to stick around for that. If you want more of my content, you should subscribe to my Patreon. For only $10 a month, you're going to get a cheat sheet with all the stats you need to know for DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, Super Draft, and Fantasy Draft, along with daily articles, salary tier rankings, and the cash score for, and injury notes. So yeah, be sure to check out all of that today. I think that's really all I got to say. So today I'm just going to go through every single team because, if I put yeses for interest in players, it'd be 6 players, and I don't want that. We have to play everybody today just because there's only a few games. So the first team we'll start with is Houston playing OKC. Robert Covington at 5,800. He had a really good game the other day. Was in an optimal lineup, but it's kind of been finally for him. He just really hasn't done much. He hasn't really been that productive against OKC this entire playoffs, and he always seems to be pretty popular, so he's always someone I look to avoid. But, he does always project as a solid option, and he will again today because he's 5,800. He'll play in the uppers. He'll play about 30 minutes this game. He's out there. He's probably the third highest usage player now that Russ is gone, but yeah, I still like it into Robert Covington. I think he's a solid option. Eric Gordon at 6,100 is just too expensive for me now. He was fine when Westbrook was gone, but now at $6,100 for someone, he's going to play 30 minutes, but he's low usage now. It's just not something that I really want to get to. He's just too expensive for me. If he was in the 5Ks, that'd be someone interesting. That's the thing with all the Houston guys, like Jeff Green too. Now that Russ is back, it takes some of their minutes down and their usage down, and I just don't really want to get as much. And I don't want to play Jeff Green for $5,400. He's just not someone that has a lot of interest in me. And even James Harden's still too expensive at $11,300. Now with Harden back on the floor, his usage rate goes back down to what it normally is, which is still good. He's still James Harden. He's still a great player. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's still going to have a high usage. I'm not telling you don't play James Harden. He's just not as good of a player as he was with Russ off the floor. But now Harden's back, or now Russ is back, and I still do like to go to Harden today. I think he's still, a good top tier option on today's slate, where you really only have two major expensive players. Harden's one of the ones I like to go to. I think he gets us some. In raw points, he could be the highest scorer on the day. Daniel House at $5,100. Another guy is just too expensive now. And he's going to play a ton of minutes, but he's just too expensive. And then PJ Tucker, I don't ever play him because he's a 0.6 point per minute player. He's not productive when he's out there, especially with Russ back. So not someone I want to get to today. I'm not really too interested in Houston outside of really James Harden. And even Russell Westbrook, he's kind of playing limited minutes right now. So I don't want to pay $9,700 for someone who's going to play about 27 minutes today. So I don't really want to get to Russell Westbrook. All right, we got rid of Houston. That was the team I was least interested in today. We'll go to Miami. I am very interested in the Miami Heat guys now. Bam Adebayo at 7,700 definitely gives me someone I do like here. The Bucks are a fast-paced team. They're a very good defense. So, and this is an interesting matchup because the Milwaukee Bucks are dead last in three-pointers allowed per game, and the Miami Heat are number 1 in the league in three-pointers per game. So this is going to be a great three-point shooting matchup, and that for Bam Adebayo, yeah, he's not a three-point shooter, but what he is he's got a high assist rate. He's a guy who's getting a lot of those assists, those guys outside of the three-point shot. He's a 23.6 assist rate, which is, I believe, the third highest on the team. Yeah, it's behind Bam and Jimmy, or behind Jimmy and Goran. That makes sense. So, with a high assist rate for Bam Adebayo, if he can find a lot of these open three-point shooters, I think he's going to be a very good value. He's going to be out there matched up against Giannis the whole game, too. He's going to be playing a ton of minutes. I have him for 36 right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get 40. This is going to be a great series. It's going to be a close series. These teams match up really well against each other. They have all year this year. We've seen Miami already give Milwaukee trouble this year, so I think this is going to be a great series, and I think Bam Adebayo is someone who's going to be a key component of that, and he'll be at 8,000 soon. I want to keep going after Bam Adebayo while he's still cheap enough. Jimmy Butler at 8,100. He got hurt in the last game, and now he's basically had a week off to heal that. They said he's fine, 100% ready to go. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's just a high point per minute guy. Jimmy Butler is always a good guy to go after, in my opinion. He always feels safe. He doesn't really ever not produce at all. He may not go off, but he's a safe player to me. He's someone I like in cash today. So I think Butler does provide us. He's 1.2 point per minute player, high usage guy. He is the second highest usage player on the team. behind Bam and Adebayo. So, I mean, it's just, or I'm sorry, no, he is the highest usage player on the team. My bad. So yeah, Jimmy Butler. I'm with Kendrick Nunn off. I know Kendrick Nunn played last game, but it was because Butler went out. I don't think Nunn gets minutes today. I mean, maybe a little bit, but with Nunn off the floor, Butler's usage goes up even more. So I do like in the Jimmy Butler today. They're going to need him to do well. Jay Crowder, 4,500, some solid value. He'll play 25 minutes in a fast-paced matchup, so Crowder is a solid option today. He always seems to be a nice little value guy to go after. Probably won't have a huge ceiling game, but he's decent enough. Goran Dragic at 6,600. I have him for 35 minutes, and Goran Dragic has been playing lights out since the playoffs started, and I continue to want to go back to him today on this 2-game slate. He just looks like a solid option, someone who can hit a high ceiling today, someone who has a high point per minute, high usage player. He is the highest assist rate player on the team at 28.6 and has a high usage of 25.9. Like for someone coming off the bench all year, he's got a high usage rate. It's gone down a little bit when he's in a starting lineup, but he still gets us a ton of usage at $6,600, and I do want to go after Goran Dragic today on this small slate. I'm sure it'll be pretty popular, but that's fine. Tyler Hero at $5,500. I mean, he's a tough one because he's like kind of scoring independent player. Like all his points are coming off made threes, but it's Milwaukee. Like this, like the last series, I was like Evan Fournier, like the first 2 or 3 videos, and he just couldn't hit a three. Like if Evan Fournier was hitting stuff, he would have been a great play every single day. It was just like, because I was like, this is the perfect matchup for a guy like him, and this is the perfect matchup for a guy like Tyler Hero, and someone we'll get into in a minute. So Tyler Hero is definitely someone I want to go after today at 5,500, and he has been closing the games for Miami. I prefer Hero over Robinson now just because, yeah, Hero doesn't start, but Hero is in the closing lineup every single game. He is getting trusted with 30 minutes a game now, and I expect that to continue to be. I don't see any reason why that's going to change now. So Hero is definitely someone I like in a good matchup for him against the bad three-point shooting defense of Milwaukee's. Andre Iguodala is 3,500, and I mean I've just kind of been avoiding him because he just has been so unproductive. I mean he'll be out there play 25 to 30 minutes a game, but he just doesn't do anything. Like he's there for the leadership. He isn't going to score you a lot of points, and he's probably going to be really popular today because he's 3,500 playing 26 minutes, and that's the kind of value you want if you want to play Giannis and Harden. But like I just don't see how. I don't think his value's that great. Like I don't think he's going to do a ton for you. So. That's it for Andre Iguodala. Kendrick Nunn hasn't been playing. He got minutes last game, and I think that was only because Butler went out. Now, Kendrick Nunn played really well in those minutes he played. I just don't think that they're going to give him back to him. I think Butler being back is just going to give him the minutes. It just doesn't seem like they want Kendrick Nunn in the rotation, which is weird to me because he's a finalist for Rookie of the Year. He's been very productive for them, the starting point guard all year. Now they just take him out of rotation. Like I understand Goran Dragic starting, but I feel like Nunn should be getting minutes off the bench. And Andre Iguodala, really hasn't been good. So I don't understand the reasoning for it. But right now, I'm not going to give Nunn any minutes. I'm not going to play him today. If he gets minutes today, then we'll adjust for the next game. But I don't expect him to at all today. Kelly Olynyk doesn't play enough for me to really want to get there. But Duncan Robinson at $4,900. This one, another one. I kind of don't understand why he doesn't finish games. I feel like Duncan Robinson. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league percentage-wise, and he's good defensively. He's just I don't understand why he's not closing games. Like I don't think Andre Iguodala should be in the closing lineup. They don't need him. They don't need that veteran leadership anymore when you have someone like Jimmy Butler on the team. Like he's your veteran leader at the end of games. They don't necessarily need Iguodala. Like get someone who can go out there and spread the floor. Like how dangerous of a closing lineup would Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala, Duncan Robinson? Or I'm sorry, I said Iguodala. How dangerous of a finishing lineup would Butler, Bam, Hero, Robinson, and Nunn be? You have your big that can match up with Giannis. You have your veteran leader who's just a dog on defense, and then you have your 3 shooters. I think that's the most dangerous lineup, especially against someone like Milwaukee. And all 3 of those guys can play defense too. It's not like they're bad defenders. They're solid defenders. Hero's probably the worst one of the group, but that's the lineup I would close with, but that's not what they're doing. So we can't. This isn't me thinking about how basketball should be played. This is about the DraftKings, and Robinson's fine. He'll play a lot of minutes in the first 3 quarters, and the fourth won't. So if he can score you all those points in the first 3, that's great. If he gets top in the 3-point line, that's great. But it's not someone that's like a core play for me today. Have some shares of him in tournaments because I don't think he'll be highly owned at all. So he's still someone that's interesting, and that's what I'm saying. Like you would think, like there was two games going against Indiana, he was like ridiculously hot. And he tied the record for most 3-pointers made by a Miami Heat player in the playoffs, and didn't even play him in the fourth. Made no sense. So that's I guess Duncan Robinson. Just I don't get it over there. Up next, we got the Milwaukee Bucks playing Miami Heat. Giannis, he's Giannis. I don't really have much to say. I mean, it's just like it is a tough matchup for him against Miami. Like Bam has been a very good defender against Giannis, but On this slate, you have two guys to pay up for, and if I'm choosing Giannis or Harden, I'm going Giannis because he's a higher point per minute guy, and he's only $100 more than Harden. So, yeah, Giannis is definitely the guy I want to go to today out of those top tier guys. Now, I think if you don't want to even play one of those top two, I'm definitely going to have lineups like that today. I think that's very warranted today. So, you don't need to, especially not have a ton of value on the slate. And I think there's a good bunch of these like middle to upper tier players that you can fit in lineups that are very solid options. Eric Bledsoe, 5,900. I expect his minutes to go up now. They're getting more of a difficult series against Miami, so I gave him 30 today, 31 actually. $5,900. He just is too cheap. He's too cheap for that usage, that his time out there. I mean, he's going to be out there for defense too. Like, he's just, he's one of the best defenders. He's probably the second best defender on the team, maybe third behind Brook Lopez. I mean, obviously do different things on defense, but just an elite defender. So Eric Bledsoe is someone I definitely want to target today. Just 5,900. He's a 1.14 point per minute player. I expect him to get more minutes than he has been, and I like the salary for him. I don't really want any of Connaughton or DiVincenzo. George Hill at 40. George Hill's price went up to 4,200, so I don't really like that anymore too much. Brook Lopez 5,300 is interesting though. I mean, it's a tough matchup against Miami, against the bigs. They're just, they're great defensively everywhere. Like, everywhere against Miami is a tough matchup, but it's a 2-game slate, so you got to attack him somewhere. Brook Lopez is going to play a ton of minutes. He's $5,300, 0.966 point per minute player. Not the highest usage guy, but if he's knocking down threes, he's going to be valuable. He'll be in there at the end of the game more than likely. So I think Brook Lopez is someone to target, say, just because of his price tag. And then Chris Middleton at 7,900. He's finally got himself back in the groove. I remember I said in the last video, or last time they played for that video, that Chris Middleton in the fourth quarter of the last game had finally started knocking down shots, and if that could carry over to the next game, he'd be very good, and that did carry over into the next game. He had like a 44-point DraftKings day, so at $7,900, I want to continue going after him. It looks like he's back in his groove, got himself going now, and I don't think Middleton's going to be highly owned because he's not like, doesn't look like good value or anything, but he's still a 1.23 point per minute guy. Like, Chris Middleton gets like this, oh my god, I don't even, he gets, everyone thinks of Chris Middleton as someone who's just shooting threes. That's a scoring dependent player. He gets this reputation of a scoring dependent player, but he's really not. Like, he does a lot of other things there. He gets rebounds, he gets some assists in there. He's really good on defense, so he gets some of those defense peripherals sometimes. So a 1.2, and he's a 1.23 point per minute guy. Like, that's not a scoring dependent player unless you're shooting with a ton of volume. And he does shoot at a good volume, but not like a ridiculous amount of volume. I mean, here you go. He has 15 shots per game, which is the second most on the team, but he's also the second best player on the team. That's expected. So, yeah, Chris Middleton, still someone I'd definitely like to go to. And then finally, we'll go up to Okc Thunder playing against Houston's best matchup of the day. Huge pace-up spot for OKC. It's been the whole series where they got blown out last game, but I'll continue to go back to them. Steven Adams, $5,800. He hasn't really been closing the games as much because, I mean, yeah, everyone says, oh, you got to play the bigs against Houston because they don't have any bigs. I mean, yeah, that works, but, like, it also can work negatively. If your big isn't mobile, if he's not quick, he's not going to be able to stay out there. And Steven Adams isn't really one of those guys, so he's only kind of been playing 25 to 30 minutes a game, not been getting a ton of run, and I understand that. So Steven Adams 5,800 is a solid option for me, but nothing that's like a fantastic play. Darius Baisley, probably not really too interested. Lou Dort at 4,100 was god awful last game. I mean, just bricked everything. But I mean, I'll go back to him today. I mean, he's 3,500. He's 35. Going to play about 35 minutes if the game stays close. A $4,100 player. I mean, he's not cheap anymore, but no one really is. They've kind of priced up all the value guys a little bit. So hopefully, if he's knocking down shots, he's going to be a good value today. And if you knew me personally, I've been a huge Lou Dort fan since his college days, which I guess was like a year ago. But I was on draft night, was so shocked he didn't get drafted. I mean, I'm so happy he's a starter. So in the league now, like, he's going to be a good player. Like, he just needs to keep developing his offensive game. He's going to be a legit NBA player, a legit starter in the NBA. So Lou Dort, they want him. The reason he keeps shooting shots is because they want him to keep shooting shots. They want him getting confident. Like, people be like, oh my god, why is this guy shooting? He's shooting breaks. Because they want him to. They want him to gain that confidence for, like, down the road. They want to have that confidence in him. So Lou Dort, still a good play. I think he's going to shoot the ball. It's not like he's not shooting it. $4,100 is going to be out there a ton of minutes to guard Harden. So, yeah, Lou Dort's someone I'm interested in. Danilo Gallinari, $6,000. I just really haven't liked playing Gallinari really the whole bubble because it just feels like every single game he's getting a ton of ownership. He's not really playing like a ton of minutes. Like, I have him for 29 today. Like, he gets this reputation as a starter who's going to play like, upper 30s. He's not playing those kind of minutes. It is a good matchup, but not someone I want to go to as much. I mean, if he's not going to get a ton of ownership, yeah, I'd go to some Danilo Gallinari, but if he's going to be one of the highest owned players again, I'm not going to look to Gallinari. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, $7,100. He's just been playing a ridiculous amount of minutes every game. I want to go with all the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander I can get still. It's a great matchup for him. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander loves to drive a lot to the basket, and they don't really have any shot blockers, so he just needs to beat one guy, and it's not like they have a ton of great individual one-on-one defenders for a guard like him. So I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is someone I definitely like to go to today, just because he's been playing so many minutes. He's $7,100. He's probably one of my favorite plays of the day. Yeah, I absolutely love going to SGA. Then we got Chris Paul, $8,200. I have him for 37 minutes. I mean, it's just another Chris Paul's just, solid guy. He's going to go out there and get you his points. He's probably not going to have a high ceiling game, but he's probably also not going to have a low floor game. It's a good cash play. It's Chris Paul for me. Someone solid. I'll have some exposure to him in tournaments, but not going to go a ton of Chris Paul. So, and then lastly, we got Dennis Schroeder, who got ejected last game. Killed me. That was a rough day already, but God, that one hurt. I have him for 31 minutes. He's a high-usage guy. Just another dream matchup. He's a fast-paced player in a fast-paced game. I say this pretty much every video about Dennis Schroeder. I love his spot. I love him at $6,400. I'll continue to play Schroeder. He's been playing really, really well in the playoffs against Houston. I think that continues today. So I think that's really all I got to say on the players for today's video. If you guys really enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell, leave a comment. All those things really help me grow. Make sure to, if you want to get more of my content, subscribe to the Patreon. If you want to follow me on social media, I'll put my Twitter and Instagram handles in the link below, or in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys make some money and have fun watching basketball day.